What if you are far more powerful than you have allowed yourself to believe you are? What if you are actually a gift, a real contribution to the people, to this world, and you have simply never fully chosen to be your higher self? Wouldn't you want to discover the most powerful version of yourself? The true self, not the one behind the baggage. What if life was never meant to feel like something you constantly have to push through or struggle with? What if life was meant to include fun, creativity, curiosity, meaningful work, loving relationships, to travel, to explore, and the freedom to enjoy being alive, being you? Most people don't realize how much emotional mental baggage they're carrying. Somehow we assume stress, overwhelm, pressure, and emotional heaviness are simply part of being an adult, all this trauma and drama. But what if that is not actually true? What if much of the weight you are carrying today is simply old mental and emotional baggage that was never released? Here is something important to understand. You cannot think your way into your highest self, the true you, or think your way out of your mental and emotional baggage. Because your logical mind will try to analyze everything, question everything, and shrink possibilities down to what is already knows, not what more possible. But your true capacity and your limitations are stored much deeper in the subconscious mind. And this is where real change happens. If emotional baggage is sitting in your subconscious mind, all fears, all rejections, all the I'm not enough programming, then every time you try to step into something bigger, your goals, your dreams, that old script story quietly will pull you back. That is what feeling stuck often really feels like. Not lack of ability, not your laziness, just old emotional patterns that's still running in the background. So if you want to learn a few simple tools that can help you begin shifting that pattern, watch this week's episode number 99, Simple Ways to Get Unstuck. Today I share practical ways to begin loosening the mental and emotional baggage that may be slowing you down. Because sometimes the only thing that needs to change is releasing the weight you were never meant to carry. This podcast is for the soul who knows there is more, the one who's been carrying it all for far too long. If you're ready to let go of old stories, to stop replaying the past and start living from your truth, you're in the right place. This is your moment to release the noise and reconnect to what's real. Welcome to Baggage Begun, Healing Hearts and Minds. I'm Tammy Machmali. What if you are far greater than you have allowed yourself to be? What if you are actually a gift, a real contribution to people and to the world, and you have simply never fully chosen to be it? Would you choose it? Pause for a moment. You don't need to figure it out right now. You cannot think your way into how great you are, because a logical mind will try to analyze it, shrink it, and question it. Why, how? Because logic works for what it already knows. But your true capacity, your energy, and your limitations are stored deeper in your subconscious mind. And this is where everything connected. If emotional baggage is sitting in your subconscious mind, old fears, old rejections, or old stories like I'm not good enough programming, so every time you try to step into something bigger, bolder, the old script quietly will pull you back. That is what feeling stuck really is. It is not weakness. It is not because you don't know or you are not enough. It is unhealed baggage, unreleased baggage running in the background. In this episode 99, Simple Ways to Get Unstuck today, we talk about simple ways to begin getting unstuck and why lasting change happens only when you go deeper and clear the baggage at the root. Because maybe you are not stuck, maybe you are simply bigger than the old stories you have been living. But because of the baggage, you cannot move towards your visions and dreams. And the good news is this: if you would like more peace, joy, and love in your life, that movement can begin simply by releasing mental and emotional baggage. Through the Baggage Begun method, using hypnosis and energy work, many people are able to release this baggage in just few sessions in ways that can be life-changing, so you can become the change the world asking you to be and discover what more is truly possible for you. Welcome to Baggage Begun, Healing Hearts and Minds. I'm Tammy Machmali, and I'm so happy that you are here. Before we begin, I want to say thank you for being here with me today. I truly appreciate you choosing to spend this time with me, because when someone listens to a conversation like this, it usually means a part of them is ready for something more, for the shift, for the change. If you stay with me through this episode, I'm going to share a few simple tools that can help you begin shifting things in your life today easily and effortlessly. And if you feel that you want to go deeper, you're welcome to reach out to learn more about the Baggage Begun method, where through hypnosis and energy work, I guide people to release mental and emotional baggage from the root and reconnect with their purpose, essence, gain clarity and direction in life. Today I want to talk about something almost everyone experiences, but very few people truly understand: what feeling stuck is. Let me give you different ways to look at this. Imagine you are driving a beautiful car. The engine is strong, the design is perfect, everything about the car is built to move forward. But you press the gas and the car barely moves, so you press harder. Maybe you think the engine is the problem. Maybe you think you're not pushing hard enough. But what if the real issue is something much simpler? What if the parking brake is still on? That is what emotional mental baggage often looks like in real life. Many people are intelligent, capable, and motivated. They have goals, ideas, dreams, visions. They read the books, listen to podcasts, learn new strategies, went to coaches, therapists, and try to improve themselves. And the engine is working, but something deeper is still holding the brake. That brake usually lives in the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind stores emotional, mental experiences from the past. It remembers moments when you felt rejected, judged, pressured, or unsafe. Basically, all your emotional trauma and drama. Its job is to protect you from repeating those experiences again, basically to keep you safe. So when life begins to move forward, new things happening, when something bigger becomes possible, the subconscious mind sometimes slows things down because it believes it is keeping you safe. Maybe you experience anxiety, overwhelm, physical ailments, accidents, things that are happening in order to slow you down, because your subconscious mind think it might be dangerous for you to move forward. This is what we call emotional mental baggage. It is not the past itself. It is the emotional mental programming that continue running in the background of your life today. But there is good news. You do not need to live in the trauma, drama, anger, or emotional struggle in order to grow. Those states are not signs of strength. I really mean it. In many ways, they become toxic weight for the mind, the body, and even the energy we bring into the world. And we don't really want that. What if life could feel lighter? What if moving forward did not require forcing, hustling, fighting, or judging yourself? Think about that. So, through hypnosis and energy work, we can work directly with the subconscious mind in easy, effortless ways to release the emotional mental baggage that has been holding the brake. Then the energy shifts and you can move forward easily and effortlessly. When that baggage begins to clear, something very natural happens. You begin to move forward again. The energy shifts. You feel lighter, not by pushing harder, but because the resistance, the baggage underneath the pattern has finally been released, and that's real freedom. So in this episode, we are going to explore simple ways you can begin shifting your momentum today and why Real lasting change happens only when the emotional baggage underneath the pattern is cleared from the root cause and we reprogram to what is needed for you. Because maybe you're not broken. Maybe your engine has always been strong. Maybe the only thing that needed to change was releasing the brake, which is basically your mental and emotional baggage that is stored from the past. What stuck actually means. Before we go deeper into the tools, I want to invite you to look at life from slightly different angle, perspective. What if life was not meant to feel so heavy for you? What if life was meant to include play, curiosity, creativity, travel, meaningful work, loving relationships, and the freedom to experience the world fully? What if being alive meant enjoying the process of living, building things, loving people, exploring the world, creating ideas, contributing something meaningful to this life, instead of constantly hustling, managing stress, pressure, and emotional weight, baggage? Many people believe that struggle, drama, and trauma are simply part of life, and I disagree with that. They assume that being an adult means carrying emotional burdens forever. But what if that is not actually true? I encourage you to ask yourself, what if much of the heaviness people feel is not life itself, it's their baggage, but emotional mental baggage they've been carrying for years without realizing it? Most people do not wake up in the morning and decide, today I'm going to carry old pain, worry, and doubt with me. Yet many people move through life with this invisible emotional weight that quietly influences how they think, feel, and act. And it's really not needed anymore. And there is real science behind this. Research in neuroscience shows that the brain prioritizes things that are predictable over our happiness and the unknown. The brain's primary job is survival, meaning to keep us safe, protected, to choose what's familiar, all the things that are familiar, emotional experiences that feel safer to the nervous system, to the subconscious mind, because they are known and you already did them. So it thinks that the known is safe. Even if it's painful, even if it's no longer serving you, even if it's attachment and patterns that can feel neurologically safe, but they are not good for you anymore. Studies on habit forming and natural pathways show that repeated emotional experiences create automatic responses. So your brain builds shortcuts called natural pathways, patterns, stories, attachments that run without your conscious efforts. And sometimes they are not serving you anymore, because if you want to grow and do better, those patterns might stop you. That's why someone can say, I know better, but why I keep doing the same thing? It is not a lack of intelligence. It is your conditioning. You can see this clearly in different areas of life. In careers, you can see it. You may stay in a draining job with people that you dislike because uncertainty feels more threatening to you than being in the unknown, then dissatisfaction, then being in a place that you're not happy in. In relationships, you can see it that repeatedly someone can choose emotionally unavailable partners because that emotional dynamic, the trauma and drama, feels familiar from earlier life experiences. In your health, you can experience that maybe you want to change habits, you want to lose weight, but you procrastinate to take the actions that actually elevate you because past attempts created subconscious fear of failure, and now you think it's not possible for you. The subconscious mind and nervous system often moves toward what is familiar because it's already went through this experience, not necessarily towards what is good for you today. So when people say they feel stuck, overwhelmed in the chaos, what is often happening is something called a freeze response. Your nervous system, your subconscious mind pauses the movement to avoid what it perceives as danger, emotional risk. But here is the important part for you to know. Protection is not the same as living a fully aligned life. And many people do not even realize they're carrying this emotional baggage that quietly limits how fully they experience life. They think they're simply being responsible, realistic, or careful, but underneath the old emotional experiences are still influencing the reactions to the present moment. They think they are simply being responsible, realistic, traditional, or careful, but underneath those emotional baggage, experiences, traumas are still influencing, running the reaction to the present moment today. That's why you might not be living your highest potential, living your dreams and visions. This is why I want to explain why I'm giving you these tools today. Many people come to healing work believing something is deeper wrong with them because they cannot move forward. I do not believe that. In my work, I see people who have been carrying mental and emotional baggage for years while still showing up for life. They raise families, go to work, care for others, and keep trying to grow in business, in every area of life. These are people that are smart, successful, and that's not weakness. That is strength. I did the same thing. But strength alone does not mean you need to carry the baggage forever. I encourage you, if you feel that you have baggage, come to a few sessions and release the baggage. You don't need to carry that any longer. What many people call stuckness is often accumulated trauma, drama, emotional strain, emotional baggage that the nervous system accumulated and the subconscious mind never had the opportunity to release. That is why these tools matter. They're not about fixing you. I'm giving you these short tools. They are not lasting, but because they're about giving your body, mind signals of safety. These two are going to guide you. They're about giving your body and mind signals of safety, a first step so movement become possible for you again. Because when you experience even a small shift, something powerful happens in your nervous system. It gives you the okay to move forward. If you want to go deeper through hypnosis and energy work, we can work together directly with the subconscious mind in few sessions, and it's going to happen easily and effortlessly. When that happens, you often discover clarity, confidence, and a sense of relief, a purpose that have been buried underneath years of emotional conditioning, trauma, and drama. And when the baggage begins to lift, life starts to feel different, magical. You feel a shift. People begin to experience more peace, clarity, creativity, more joy, more love, freedom, particularly to participate fully in their life. And you don't need to force it. Now, before we walk about deeper healing, I want to share a few simple actions that can help you to begin shifting your state and momentum today. These small actions matter because they send a signal of safety to your brain. They are not cures, they are ways to gently shift your internal state and create movement in times that you feel that you're stuck. And before we finish today, I want to leave you with a few practical tools so you can try them immediately. Think of these ways to help your body and mind to shift out of stuckness state. They're not meant to replace deeper healing work that I do in hypnosis and energy work. They're simply to help your nervous system move out of stress and back into clarity in the moments that you really need them. The first tool is called heart coherence breathing. And this tool focuses on breathing and the connection between your heart and the brain. When people feel stuck, breathing usually becomes shallow and irregular. That patterns tell the brain that something is wrong, even if nothing dangerous is actually happening in your life. So when breathing slows and becomes steady, the brain receives a different message that the body is safe and you can come out of your stuckness. Research in psychology shows that slow rhythm breathing can help you stabilize your heart rhythm and calm your nervous system. So you can try this right now. You can place one hand gently on your heart and breathe slowly through your nose about 5 seconds. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you exhale slowly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. So you do it 10 times. Breathing in through your nose for about 5 minutes and then exhaling slowly, breathing in 5 seconds, breathing out 5 seconds, and feeling your heart, how the energy is coming in and out of your heart. Keep your breath steady for 2 to 3 minutes. Imagine the breath moving throughout the center of your heart, in and out. When breathing becomes steady, the heart rhythm stabilizes and the brain receives signals that the body is safe. When the body feels safer, the mind becomes clearer and decisions become easier for you, and hopefully you can come out of the state. The second tool involves movement. The brain processes emotions more easily when the body moves in a gentle left-right rhythm. I used to do it for many years, not understanding that I'm balancing my right side of the brain and the left side when I was in the gym on the elliptical machine. You can just walk. This type of movement increases the communication between your two hemispheres of the brain, and they help your emotional experience process instead of repeating in a loop. This type of movement increases communication between the two hemispheres of the brain, the right side and the left side, and they help emotional experiences to process instead of repeating a loop. This is one of the principles that they use in therapy like EMDR. You can do this very simply. You can take a slow walk and pay attention to your steps. Left foot, right foot, right foot, and focus on them. Or gently tap your hands alternatively on your thighs while walking. Do this for 3 to 5 minutes while thinking about something that feels overwhelming. Many people notice that their thoughts begin to settle and emotional intensity soften because the brain shifts from emotional overload into processing mode. I really encourage you to do that. Now, the third tool, it's naming the emotions. That's very helpful to me and to my clients. This tool is really simple but powerful. Now, I want you to watch your words, the way you talk to yourself, the way you communicate to yourself, because that's going to shift a lot for you in your life. When you're feeling overwhelmed, when you feel stuck, instead of focusing on this, remember that you are the creator of the movie of your life. If you want a better movie, a better scenario, watch out the way you think, the way you talk, the way you act. Instead of saying, I feel stuck, I feel overwhelmed, oh my God, I'm anxious, try to name what you're actually feeling. For example, you might say, I feel pressure, I feel fear of failing, or I feel uncertainty. Name exactly the feeling that you're feeling and then say, everything is okay with me. 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 I'm safe now. I am safe. I am safe. And repeat that. And you're going to see a shift. Try it a few times. I usually do it 3 to 5 times. And I feel the shift in my energy. Research from UCLA shows that when people label emotions clearly, the activity in the emotional center of the brain decreased the trauma and drama, and the thinking part of the brain becomes more active, so you can actually function without the blackness of the stuckness. Naming the emotion helps your brain to organize the experience instead of reacting to it or freezing. And that shift is powerful. I want you to remember that. Now, I want to be clear about something important. Those tools can help you shift your state today. They can help your body to move out of the overwhelmed stuckness and into a calmer place where thinking becomes easier instead of freezing. But they do not always remove the deeper emotional mental baggage that creates the pattern in the first place. Those patterns live in your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind stores emotional memories, beliefs, patterns, and we talked about that. Often people experience cycles, progress for a while, then the same patterns return because we want to clear from the root cause of the problem, and we can do it in simple few sessions of hypnosis and energy work. And if you want to dive deeper, please contact me. I would love to hear from you. Before we finish today, I want to leave you with a different question. What if life was never meant to feel like something you have to push through or struggle? What if your life was meant to include curiosity, creativity, meaningful work, loving relationships, travel, exploration, and the freedom to enjoy being alive? Most people don't realize how much baggage they're carrying. They assume stress, pressure, and emotional heaviness are simply part of being an adult and that they need to carry that. But what if that is not actually life? I encourage you to ask this question. what if much of that weight is simply old emotional baggage that was never released and it's not serving you? And I want you to imagine how your life will look like if you didn't need to carry all this baggage. You don't have to force yourself. So start with the small tools we talked about today, and please let me know how you felt afterward. And if you notice that you have baggage and old programming still running the show, please contact me. I would love to hear from you. Because that deeper work is what I guide people through using hypnosis and energy work, and it's life-changing. Working directly with the subconscious mind to clear emotional baggage from the root and reconnect you with your life purpose with clarity and ease. If this conversation spoke to you today, please follow the podcast so you don't miss the next episodes, and feel free to share this with someone who might need it. I want to thank you so much for being here. And if you feel ready to explore what life could look like without the baggage, you're always welcome to reach out and learn more about the Baggage Begun method. Thank you again for being here today. This is Baggage Begun Healing Hearts and Minds, and I'm Tammy Machmali. And sometimes the first step towards freedom is simply awareness, realizing you don't have to carry everything you've been carrying, and it is okay for you to be free. I can't wait to hear from you. Thank you for being here. This is Tammy Machmali, sending you so much love. See you next week. If you're curious and want to dive deeper, you are in the right space. I ask you to look within for all the things that you want to do, be, and have. Join me at the Baggage Begun Healing Hearts and Minds podcast with new episodes every Wednesday as we discover the path towards healing and transformation.